The ONA at present is about as successful as the Occupy movement or any other type of pseudo organization that does not necessarily have any real or clear aim or goal. I believe personally that has really detracted from the total success of the endeavor. People were always worried more about how qualified somebody is to speak about something, or if that individual fits along with their preconceptions of this or that. Really doesn't matter if David Myatt is Anton Long or not, because what has happened is people have made him Anton Long, and if he is, then what does that matter? What does that have to do with you and what you're doing, and whether or not you're willing to undertake some of these inside roles for Nexions, engage in Aonics and things like that, And much of the ONA material that you can access has modalities that are not consistent with being able to actually be successful. A lot of the material will end up with you in jail or in prison and stuff like that. And, I myself, I've been there, I've done that. I did some of the more subversive things that are recommended, and faced my consequences, and gained insight. It wasn't a very happy time, but I did my dirt, and I suffered the consequences for it. It's just what happens. The concept of National Socialism and trying to infuse that into any kind of movement that you hope to be widespread is really kind of counterproductive, because if you are appealing to individuals' sense of racial pride, at most you're going to get factionalizations of your once whole and total platform. You're setting it up to be split from the beginning. So that's not really going to work either. So we have two things right there, which are due for immediate elimination and or revision, and most certainly a review. Pay attention to them. Cannot be about race. If you're trying to uplift humanity, it can't be about race. There's a lot of talk about Annex and the Nexion, but I don't believe that those things have really been delved into in any real way, whether or not the writings are by Alan Long or Christos Beast, what have you. There's some information, talking about very basic and rudimentary fundamentals, having to do with those principles and concepts. But I believe those definitions are, if not outdated, they're just like incredibly incomplete. And I think that's certainly intentional, because you need to find out what those things are for yourself. Inside roles are pretty laid out, but the whole concept of Aonics is not. Of course, we understand Aonics as the progression, evolution, or transmutation of existing societies, but it doesn't have to be something so vast, especially at this point. I mean, if you're wanting to change civilizations, you're not going to do that in your lifetime, and so therefore you probably should not worry about those kinds of concepts. Right off the bat, what you should be worried about is, Aonics on a personal scale, Aonics on an everyday scale, like being able to change your own life situation, your own financial situation, your family situation, experimenting when you're out and about in public, see if you can make somebody smile, see if you can upset somebody, see if you can basically manipulate things, learning to take pre-existing energies and and modify them according to your desires, your will. Which, when I say the word will, has no connotations with ODOTO or Aleister Crowley or any of that garbage. I'm talking about willpower, magic aside, which points me toward another aspect of this. The ONA as a quote-unquote satanic organization, or platform, ascribes to the notion of Satan and such. Personally, I've eliminated that out of my enaction of Order of Nine Eagles principles in the sevenfold way, because it's simply just not practical. I mean, I don't have any reason to believe in Satan or anything. Satan's not going to pay my bills. Satan's not going to do anything for me that I cannot, would not, or should not do for myself rather. And so therefore I see it as a construct which is simply irrelevant, and if you need Satan to give you some kind of personal strength or authority to go ahead and do some of these things, then you probably shouldn't really even be messing around with the ONA. You should probably literally seriously just go to church. If you need a being to have your back that is invisible and has no tangible proof of existing, you should probably just crack open a Bible and call it a day. But Aeonics is very simple. It's just small reassertions of your will, or assertions of your will upon the timeline, to augment it according to your machinations. That's it. It's really the definition of that. And we talk about certain techniques that you can use. I'll probably make some videos dealing specifically with that, but I just believe that the ONA is in need of a voice, is in need of major revision. I do not believe that it should at any point become an organization, because that would really defeat the purpose, which is the evolution and advancements of individuals, and to reach enough individuals in order to form a holistic collective of free-thinking people that are not bound by any particular set of rules or regulations, expectations, oaths, and what have you. Swearing yourself to a dialectic, okay, but to work your aims one day you might have to deny your involvement in something. You might have to act as if you are not involved, dress like it, walk like it, talk like you're not part of something. And an oath is really kind of vestigial at that point, when you're really trying to accomplish something. Taking oaths, you can make one to yourself. I encourage you to do like a solitary thing, and execrate yourself. But to swear to any group or collective is hive mind, slave mentality, sheep stuff, and by its very nature, the ONA is not that. So any group that exists that calls itself ONA by proxy is therefore not ONA, unless it's a group of individuals that have chosen to organize independently and separately towards similar goals. And you can have that, sure, why not? I mean, that's great. But that, yeah, I mean, it's not something you need. The Nexion, most simply, I would say a Nexion is a fountain of aeonic change. Like, if you are causing changes to occur on a consistent basis, your very presence, your very personality, your very ethic and ethos transforms aspects of society or individuals just by merely coming in contact with you. You can be said to be a Nexion. I don't know how much I ascribe to actual physical Nexions, unless you have something established like a bookstore is actually a powerful Nexion. Grocery stores are powerful Nexions. Think about what I'm saying. These are things that were they gone, society would change. The mystical nature of the ONA, I believe, has been largely its downfall. Nobody's running 200 miles anywhere, sorry. Nobody's doing all this crazy stuff, I mean, I did, but it really didn't give me much more than I already had. For some people, sure, they might need that little extra boost, but really, it's not gonna. You'd be better off just doing works in the world and gaining insight rather than trying to survive in the woods for 3 months or something. I do encourage all adherents to the Sevenfold Way to learn to use weaponry, learn to hunt, various survival tactics. Start getting some gear together, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if this is going to come to an end very suddenly. Whether or not, quote unquote, we are trying to bring down the world, it's going to happen one way or the other, whether Yellowstone pops its top, or there's massive civil war, or the economic situation continues to spiral out of control. People are kicking down your front door to get some bread to feed their kids. I mean, you need to arm yourself, you need to learn how to protect yourself. As for the sinister ethos, the sinister way of being, it's not about being angry or dressing in black all the time or slapping babies. It's just how you are. There's something about you that people can't pin down, yet it's dark. Something subversive, like, weapons don't necessarily announce themselves when they're about to strike. I encourage adherents to look for examples in nature of animals that are quote unquote sinister, subversive in their hunting patterns. So yeah, there will be more of these videos. I've just kind of gotten tired of all the garbage I've been reading online. And having done a lot of what is recommended for certain degrees, I don't see myself as an authority per se, but I do see myself as at least one who has walked the path extensively and has kind of pulled out all the bullshit that just you don't need. So I'm gonna be making more videos. Hopefully, individuals will gain something from them, expand upon them, and be able to take them somewhere. All right.